Dang, I was really hoping that they would have like the things about the drawings that, you know, in Rin's route. I was hoping to look at that again. Oh well. Alright, so how about we get started? Let's see, load. Interstitial, I think is where we left off, yeah. Okay. Alright, give me 1 second. Okay, drinking some water. Alright, let's get into it. Even when I see today's delicacy, fried mystery lumps, my steely resolve doesn't fade. I stuffed the dinner down without tasting it at all, which is probably for the best. I don't have much homework to do, but what little I have won't get done by itself, so I stroll toward the dormitories. Preparing for the post-homework lull, I knock on Kenji's door. He responds from the other side, although I can't make out what he said. I try the door, but it's locked. After several seconds, the locks click open and he opens the door. Hi, hey, can I borrow a book? The library was already closed after I got away from my club meeting. He is squinting even more than usual, and his eyebrows are twitching nervously. Club? That's dangerous, man. Indoctrination, groupthink, brainwashing, you name it. High school clubs sow the seeds of conspiracy. Do you know how many secret societies have grown from high school clubs? Watch your back, and don't get too deep in. You might not come back. Okay, Kenji. So, how about that book? Sure. But return them, and don't spoil any of my books. No drinks, no food stains, no bodily fluids, capiche? Sure. Thanks. I'm concerned about the bodily fluids. Oh god. Instead of letting me in, he retreats from the door and closing it again. After a few seconds, he returns with a stack of 3 thick books and hands them over to me. Opening the topmost one, a familiar emblem stamped on the copyright page greets me. Your books? These are from the school library. They are now mine. You stole these? What are you talking about, man? I've been liberating these for the oppressive feminist movement that controls the library. Ladies say oppressive feminist movement doesn't mean that poor librarian girl, Yuko. She couldn't even oppress a wet towel. Kenji turns away, mumbling something I can't make out, and closes the door behind him. Alright, that was weird. We're going to my own room. I enter the bathroom. While washing my hands, my eyes catch my reflection from the mirror above the sink. Oh, right. I wonder if he's gonna think back to the drawing. Because, Rin said, like, he looked really gloomy. Grimness, yeah. I remember she drew it, like, really good, too. I try to look for the grimness Rin saw in me, but it's just the usual me inside the mirror that stares back. I attempt to tell myself that this is what I've always looked like, but I realize I don't remember what I looked like half a year ago. Oh shit, scene transition! I wake up all sweaty, as if I had run a half marathon in my sleep. Odd, I don't recall sleeping badly. It sends a little pang of worry through me. I wouldn't want to have my heart acting up without being able to notice it. Still, apart from this odd exhaustion right after waking up, I'm feeling just fine. My mouth is like sandpaper and I have nothing to drink, so I have to go all the way to the bathroom to take my meds. On impulse, I decide to take a shower while I'm at it. While I'm in the shower, I make up my mind that this counts as morning exercise. if I properly compensate with a nice half-hour walk after school. Obviously, I wouldn't want to risk possible complications by going running now. Besides, Emmy will never know. And I think she's giving up on me in any case. Walking could be nice. Anyway, just to get to know the area. There's a big forest in the hills behind the school. Or I could go down to the convenience store. While still dabbing the moisture off my skin, I set out to find my uniform. I quickly button up my shirt and pull on my pants before going outside. Normally during this time of the year, I'd be eagerly awaiting summer vacation. Having only been at school for a little over a week, I don't really have that kind of feeling. I'm still savoring the school life, and considering the sharp and awkward turn my life has taken, I haven't had the time to become preoccupied with getting free of it. Besides, once vacations hit, it'll be a nice surprise for me if I'm not expecting it. Especially with the end of terms exams looming ahead. Also, hold on, I see something on my glasses. I smudged it. Great. Okay, hold on. Glasses are getting clean. Okay. Alright, there we go. At least I don't have any catching up to do in my studies. My diligence has finally paid off. I push myself past the boys gathered in the doorway and flop into my seat. From the corner of my eye, I could see Shizune and Misha pause their unavoidably animated conversation and turn almost simultaneously in my direction. They clearly want something from me. I can tell from the way Shizune smiles. It's too obnoxiously bright to be sincere and too calculated to be spontaneous. Yes, glasses. A tier, welcome. I like how suspicious he is of Shizune. Good morning. Her greeting is made of 100% cheer and bursting energy. Morning. I failed to put either of those into my response. Oh, wait. So, okay, so then it's gotta be more flat. Hang on. Morning. You don't look very energetic. No wonder. I don't feel very energetic either. I think I didn't sleep well, but I'm not sure. She slaps me in the back and grins. Cheer up a bit. It's a great day. I catch Shizune's eyes. She has a strange, focused expression on her face. She furrows her brow a little at direct... Wait, what? She furrows her brow a little at direct eye contact and looks away. Why are you avoiding my eyes? Shizune would never back down. It's so busy these days, just listening along. Oh yeah, no worry. I mean, I've been really enjoying my downtime with reading Katawa Shoujo. And yeah, honestly, it feels good because I mean, like, there's Persona 3 Portable, which is kind of intensive a bit, and then you know, an RPG on top of that. But Katawa Shoujo has been a nice, like, you know, calming kind of game to play. Well, not really a game, you're just reading, so. For a moment, I think that Shizune caught a glimpse of my worries, somehow, and is pondering how to respond. But then she quickly straightens her glasses, and with them, her expression. Anyway, we were wondering if you're still interested in that student council position, because we're going to make an offer that you can't decline. Wait, what? I wasn't really interested in the first place. You're putting words in my mouth. Not as such, but wouldn't it be nice to hang out with us every day while also being useful to your school? Well, to tell you the truth, I kinda joined a club, so it'd actually be sort of hard for me to join the council too. Even if I wanted to, which I don't, as I said. Is that so? Which club is it, Ki-chan? The art club. Oh shit, that made her angry. Shizune's eyes glint in a sinister way as she scowls at me. With the way she looks, I'll be expecting the art club to lose its funding before lunch break, or the art teacher to mysteriously disappear from the face of the earth. That's ominous. Before she manages to comment, the teacher finally enters the classroom, getting Shizune and Misha off my back, and sending everyone rummaging in their bags for books and pens. I did join the art club, but the first meeting didn't really boost my confidence. I'm not really sure what I'm doing it for. I wish I could draw like Rin, but I don't know what I would do if I could. To what end would I use such a skill? I don't really know. Ignoring the teacher's sleep-inducing voice, I open my notebook to an empty page and press the needle-sharp graphite tip of the pencil onto it. What to draw? I can't really think of anything good to draw. As I hesitate and raise my hand, a meek black mark left on the previously blank paper seems aggravating. I can't even seem to get to the starting line, let alone get started. It's almost a physical feeling of being held back. Annoyingly, it reminds me of my failed attempt at jogging with Emmy. I look out the window in desperation. Right then, a small bird takes flight from one of the cherry trees that grow everywhere from the school grounds. I can't really see it clearly, and it's not like I could tell one tiny bird from another, but I pick it as my subject anyway. Conjuring up the image of a bird in my mind's eye, I turn my gaze back to the notebook and deliberately draw a thick line across the paper to get started. It seems to be mocking me, so I can't follow up right away. Still, it's a great start. Oh, still it's a start, sorry. Getting started is good. Slowly sketch the picture on the notebook page, the image of my brain becoming clearer as the drawing takes shape. It's really nothing, just that nameless nothing bird on paper. But that's not important. My hesitation fades into the background, along with the teacher's voice as I continue my struggle. The feathers form a simple pattern in my mind, but on paper it's a mess of too many rough lines despite my best efforts. I realize that I don't really know what a bird's wings should look like, even if I try to think about it. I even put the pencil down and close my eyes for a moment, trying to trace the shape of a wing in my mind. Being this serious about it all of a sudden makes me a little frustrated. Art class in middle school was the easy class in between exhausting subjects like math or Japanese, but there's this other side to art. The one that you see when you don't just fool around. It's almost like a completely different thing. Hee-chan? Hey, that bird is actually not bad. I look up to see two girls staring back at me. Misha and Shizune have carried their chairs to my desk and are now standing by my sides, looking at my drawing. How long have you two been there? I think you need more practice. Some practice wouldn't hurt, but that drawing of the bird was nice. I liked it. It ain't bad. Shizune draws a few sharp signs in the air between herself and Misha. Shi-chan agrees. Rin said the exact same thing yesterday, but why did it sound less condescending? You shouldn't judge before I'm finished. Besides, don't you know it's bad luck to see an unfinished piece of work? Misha cracks in exuberant laughter. What? Don't be silly. There's no way that could be true. Whatever. Shizune's eyebrows furrow dangerously, and the movements of her hands become abrupt, like the slashing of a knife. You should learn to take constructive criticism better. I would if you'd actually offer some. I know I'm getting too defensive, and that Shizune's taking advantage of it, but I can't help it. What are you two doing here anyway? Misha wags her finger admonishingly at my nose. Tisk tisk, Hee-chan. Were you not listening to the teacher at all? We have a group assignment now. I nod obliquely and I let them take the lead. So, what do you think of the lesson for today? Not much of anything. I didn't listen to a word of it. Misha slaps her forehead and shakes her head theatrically. What are we gonna do with you, Hee-chan? Luckily, Shizune and Misha together are more effective than 3 or 4 normal people, so I can mostly slack on the assignment. I try my best to offer at least some assistance, but I end up being mostly useless. Alright girls, hope your backs are in fit shape because you're about to carry Hisao through this class. The teacher keeps us in class... Ugh. Why can I not read right now? The teacher keeps us in class 5 minutes past the lunch bells, but eventually lets us off the hook. I quickly stuff my books into my bag while Shizune and Misha carry their chairs back to their own seats. The failure of a bird drawing ends up crumbled and stuffed in my pocket as I hurry out. So it's not a failure, it was good! Well, it's like I said, guys, you know? There's no bigger hater than the hater within. After that morning class, and throughout the week, I keep bumping into Reen. Hello. It's somewhat natural, as our classrooms are adjacent, but rather than just cross paths in the hallway like people regularly do, we seem to pause at the sight of each other. Look at my comic right now, Tilo. Each 105 artist life. Yeah. There you go. Keep going, keep going. We invariably end up talking a little bit, or just silently hanging out together. I think I'm getting used to being quiet in Reen's company, as it doesn't feel as awkward anymore. I am, by nature, somewhat introverted like her, so we fit together well. I think it's actually an anomaly for someone in this school to be so quiet. Most people here seem to love socializing. Oh, he doesn't know about Hanako quite yet, or at least understand her as much. Hanako is extremely quiet. It's something that I've noticed already, even though I haven't been here very long. People here talk a lot, and they talk all the time. Oh, that reminds me. So online on, I found out on YouTube that there is videos of someone who interviewed the writers of each of the girls' stories. I remember I was listening to it at work, and I was actually listening to the Hanako one. And one of the things he mentioned actually was that writing her dialogue was the hardest part because she doesn't talk a lot. He kept saying, like, I had to use ellipses, hyphens, basically things to keep her dialogue as short as possible or cut off a bit, because she's not someone who would say so much at once. He's how I suck at art. Let me just draw an anatomically correct bird. More accurate. So yeah, that's where he was struggling. I didn't listen to the whole thing. I was listening toward the end of work, so yeah. Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to it. But I want to keep hearing it and then seeing, like, and also, like, listen to the other guys' like, their well, I don't know if they're all guys, but, you know, their takes on each route and how they wrote, you know, or why they write the things that they did. Although the Hanako writer, he did say that he had to point out that Hisao kind of was like he has a bit of that visual novel protag syndrome. Supposed to be the every guy that, you know, anyone can, like, put themselves into his shoes, basically. But I didn't hear much of it. I kind of want to hear more and see, like, in what direction did he write Hisao the way he did, you know? Because apparently each writer wrote Hisao slightly differently to keep in, you know, for it to work in the narrative. Okay, so, that's enough, yeah, let's not get too sidetracked. It's a rare case when I see someone sitting alone, just spacing out or whatever. Obviously there are people like that here, too. That Hanako girl and myself, just to name 2 from my own class. But overall, they are a minority. At any rate, I wouldn't exactly call what Reen and I do socializing either. But it's something at least. These occurrences themselves don't bother me. But the fact that they happen at all does. I'd hesitate to say that we are drawn together by something, but we certainly act as if we were. However, this sense of a budding friendship is completely wrecked every time Reen opens her mouth. Can I listen to your heartbeat? She says this or something else about us outrageous, and I had to fend off whatever nonsense her mind has cooked up during the preceding class of a subject that she is not interested in. Candy? Oh hey Candy, you made it. Not much. We just saw the scene of Hisao drawing that bird. So, not too much. It seems Rain has taken a shine to my heart condition as some kind of an extension of her interest in the odder disabilities that people here have, and the consequences of said afflictions. As I stand in front of her for a second too long, looking as flummoxed as I am, she concludes it is necessary to further clarify her request. I know I can, but I mean, will you let me? Why? Do I need a reason? I'm usually pretty bad with reasons. Not per se, but if you want to do it, you probably do have a reason. That's kind of clever. You're smarter than you look. Also, I'd rather you not. I think these things should be private. Oh, private. I get it. I can tell you something though, if it amuses you. I'm pretty sure it will. My heartbeat does sound very weird. Because of the, condition. And I hear it all the time. So you're paranoid. It's not a question, it's a statement. No, I'm not paranoid. The doctor said that abnormal attention to heartbeat is a common symptom of my condition. Hey, Leaf, you made it. So, for you, it's normal to be paranoid. It's not a question either. One could also say that me being like this in the first place isn't normal either, but what the heck. Paranoia fits me fine. I don't think it's something that actually can fit anyone or anywhere. You know, I ate an orange today for breakfast. How was it? I'm vaguely proud of myself managing to keep up with Reen's sudden change of topic. Excellent. I don't remember when I last ate an orange, because it's annoying to peel one. Oh, that's right. She wouldn't be yeah, of course. Unless someone peels an orange for her, she won't eat it. And then, I can't imagine how it'd be for your feet to peel an orange. Also, this is like... The more like I'm seeing her talk and stuff, it does feel like having an ADHD like conversation. I can't tell you the amount of times that me and Icy have talked and then our conversations jump from one topic to another topic to another topic to another topic. And every time, because it'd be like, oh, that reminds me of this. Every time. For all I know, she was actually on a train of thought with about the heart, and then she remembered, oh hey, I had an orange. And then there must have been something that made her jump from heart, rhythm, heart rate or whatever, paranoia into orange. Breakfast, morning. There's some kind of train of thought there, you know, like a flow. There's a flow. There's always a flow. It's just that sometimes for us it happens so fast that it sounds like a sudden jump. It's on the list of things I want to learn properly. How come you ate one then? Emmy had some, so she peeled one for me. Oh, good for you. Reen stretches her back and yawns and says nothing further. She throws me a glance in the corner of her eye while she watches people pass by, but I couldn't say why. That sounded very Dr. Seuss right now. That was some rhyming in there. I, by, why. He said, was that intended, or did you rhyme that many times in a row by accident? I realized, though, that this is the first time I've talked naturally about my condition with anyone. In a way. A group of boys walk past us to Rin's classroom, but she doesn't pay them any mind. They pay none to her either. My mind wanders off, spurred by the silence. Maybe I should have let her listen to my heart. It's not like it matters. Nothing really matters that much at the end of the day. I start feeling depressed for no reason. again. It's like a tidal wave out of nowhere, rolling over my consciousness, submerging me underwater. I feel a sigh coming out of my mouth, and I turn away from Rean, pretending to read a poster on the wall. It's an advertisement for the school festival, promoting an event almost a week past. The difference between me and Rean is that I'll be more likely than not dead before turning 30, while she can't eat oranges without help. I can't decide which one of us is worse off. It's not a contest, Hisao. Calm the fuck down. We probably want to talk naturally about her condition after asking about Hisao's. Oh. Maybe, yeah. That would make sense. Like, yeah, that was her, like, indirectly kind of saying, like, oh, well, I mean, this is my struggle. Like, I can't eat an orange. Unless someone helps me. I try to grasp the passing of time, but it seems hard. I'm so used to the rhythm of the hospital, where trivialities such as the day of the week or time of day didn't really matter. Everything was the same, no matter what. Rediscovering the significance of time is an oddly disorienting experience. And I found myself enjoying the fact that I can categorize events in this fashion. The relevancy of a ticking clock is surprisingly delightful. And I decided to start wearing an analog wristwatch, something I didn't used to do before. When I finally asked Rean on Thursday about something that's been bothering me for the entire week, it's already lunchtime. The time is somewhere between 11:06 and 11:07, as my watch doesn't have a hand to show seconds. It's the old-fashioned kind with a black leather strap and titanium casting. Oh, casing, sorry. It doesn't look flashy, but a wristwatch doesn't need to. Hey. Remember that sketch you made of me? How you said I look grim and gloomy or something. I'd like to know what you meant by that. She gives me a weird look and tilts her head a few degrees to the left, but doesn't say anything for a while. Well, you see, we've known each other for 2 weeks, and I haven't seen you smile even once. Dang. And I don't think he even noticed that he hadn't smiled. I'm gonna bet you he did not notice. Her striking observation gives me pause. Have I stopped smiling? I have to take what she says as truth. She has no reason to lie. Something about the way she puts it annoys me. I frown at Rean, then try to correct my expression to look less depressed. I haven't been in the cheeriest of moods during the past few months or so. This is true. Does it show so much that someone like Rean can tell, after so little contact with me? Should I try to smile more at Rean? Maybe she could appreciate it, having such a neutral face herself almost all the time. This reminds me, sorry, it's a little digression here, but I remember before I went on my vacation to Ireland and, I met Icy the first time in person, I remember one of the things I told him, like, over VC, was that me, naturally, like, in person, I don't smile much. Or at least I don't smile unless there's a reason to, I tend to keep a neutral face, just like Rean does. And, during the trip there, I mean, it was a couple days in, I would say about 4, maybe 5. I want to say 4 days in. And around that time, Icy tells me, he said, yeah, you know how you said that about that you don't smile unless you have a good reason to? I was like, yeah. He's like, I don't know if you noticed, but you've been smiling a lot since you've been here. So, yeah. Maybe it's because of vacation, maybe it was because of him, maybe it was both. I would like to think it was both. I was happy to be on vacation, happy to see him and meet him and get to know him in person. So, yeah. I was in a very good mood. Have I really stopped smiling? I see. Should I smile more? I don't mind either way. Be as you are. Can't help being Hisao anyway. I had people randomly ask me if I was okay depressed. When I was just bored, I can only assume I'm a resting depressed. There's resting bitch face and there's resting depressed face, I guess. I'm just deadpan. Oh, you're deadpan, yeah. Yeah, I have a very neutral expression when I'm like out and about usually. But thinking back, yeah, when I was with Icy in public, I did smile more. Oh, well, he has that effect on me, I guess. But it bothers you. I just noticed it. That's all. Hey! Emmy skips along the hallway, jumps to a sharp stop when she reaches us, and lightly pats Rain's shoulder. Ready for lunch? Depends on what lunch is today. Remember that stew from March? Never again. That. Let's go anyway, I'm starving. As they're about to depart, Emmy turns from her friend to me, seemingly as an afterthought, and smiles charmingly. By the way, Hisao, your tone is way too sweet and soft to be sincere. I can sense the trap about to be sprung upon me by this miniature health devil. Miniature health devil. That is an interesting one. Resting now, I win face here. I know what you're referring to on that one. Nah, I win. I know what she's about to say even before she continues, because I've been trying to avoid her all week. I still haven't seen you at the track this entire week. Maybe I've been there when you haven't. That's impossible. I'm there all the time. But you sleep and go to class. I do those at the same time as you do. Yeah, I know. Just, I haven't been able to pick myself up. Don't rat me out to the nurse, okay? Running just isn't my thing, and I haven't come up with a good alternative. Why don't you come to the track meet this weekend? Maybe you'll get inspired. Track meet? Yeah, people from a few other schools come here for some friendly track and field action. It's on Sunday afternoon. I can't think of any reason not to go. Sure, I'll come and cheer for you. I guess you'll be running? Of course. You'll get to see me beat them all. But bye now. If I don't get something to eat, I'll die. Oh, see you later. Bye, Rin. I promise I'll smile next time. I call after her as a bit of an afterthought. Afterward, I feel embarrassed about it. I wonder why I said anything at all. That night, when I'm doubly certain that Kenji won't be barging in the bathroom, I look in the mirror and smile at my reflection. Practice smiling. The me in the mirror smiling at the me in the bathroom looks awfully fake. I mean, you're basically practice smiling, so you kind of already know that you're only smiling just to smile, not because there's a reason to. Having exhausted the books Kenji lent me in just a few nights, I go back to the library, deeming it a safer alternative for getting my reading fix. I return the books he had stolen while I'm at it, to Yuko's delight. I don't tell her where I got them, though. Wow, you sure read a lot, don't you? Oh, yeah, I guess I do. I mean, I do. Even I think it's weird. I think I might have a reading problem. Maybe I'm a junkie. No, I mean it that way. It's not weird at all. Being addicted to reading is a lot better than being addicted to something else. Yeah, I know. It was a joke. I smile her reassuringly and drop the books on the counter so Yuko can check them out. I feel tired, so I sit down in the vacant chair in front of her desk. While Yuko goes through the modest pile of reading material I found, I let my gaze wander around the library. At the tables, a pair of girls is chattering and shouting in hushed tones rather than working on their homework. The short-haired one notices me looking in their direction and waves at me. When I raise my hand back, they glance at each other and giggle in unison. I'm not sure how I should feel about that, so I decided it's a good thing. The one who waved at me has a horrible case of epilepsy. Oh, jeez. I saw her having an attack a few days ago. It was one of the most disturbing and scary things I've seen in a very long time. Yeah, I bet. Yet there she is, happily tripping away about whatever, as if she doesn't have a care in the world. You know, this school is really something else. Yuko raises her eyes from the book she was going through, slightly startled. She adjusts her glasses and puts on a nervous, confused smile. What do you mean? I don't really know how to explain it. It's just that everyone's so active. Or, how should I put it? It's not just the festival thing, I think. Even though I haven't been here that long, but it's everything. People talk more, work harder, and just are more than in any other school that I've seen before. I'm struggling for words, but it feels like I'm speaking honestly. This school feels so alive. Oh shit. Okay. We're gonna save. Let's see. Well, we already finished these, so I'll start from the top here. Caesars are really distressing to watch. My old dog used to... Oh no! Oh, that's so sad. To be honest, I don't think... I haven't been around people or have any family members that I know that suffer from seizures or anything like that. I would hear stories of like cousins of cousins or whatever, you know, like distant extended family. But I never actually seen a seizure happen in front of my eyes. That's the thing, yeah. Okay, so anyway, I gotta think of something for this shit. Right, return. It's refreshing sounds a bit optimistic for Hisao. It makes me feel like I'm stuck. Sounds a little more honest to his situation, where he sees like, how come everything is moving around me, but I'm not? On the other hand, he did get called out on being too gloomy, so this would sound a little too gloomy and grim. And when you really think about it, it does sound more like you're making a good thing sound very negative. Like, okay, like because you're involving yourself in it, which, you know, I don't blame people who, like, you know, see things and then feel a certain way. But to paint it as something awful in a way where, like, oh, it's... These good things are making me feel like shit, kind of thing. Yeah, it doesn't sound great. Sure, there were some people like this in my old school too, but not as many. And it feels more intense somehow. I think if I had to pin it down to one thing, that the students here really appreciate going to school. Appreciate going to school. There we go. I don't think that's a bad thing. So even she pointed out too, like if I had done, I wonder how much more negative it could have been. Like if I did the other one, she'd have been like, what the heck? She would have called out on the same thing, I think. Yeah, me neither. Suddenly I realized I've just been babbling my thoughts to Yuko out of the blue. She's a bit of a jumpy person, so I fear I might have made a bad impression. She's looking at me with what I hope is curiosity rather than horror, so I figure she's alright. Sorry for suddenly talking about weird stuff like this. I didn't mean to trouble you. Oh no, it's not troubling. I'm happy to listen if you feel like talking. It makes me feel a little reliable too. Yuko smiles sweetly, and a little bit ironically at that. I respond with a thankful smile of my own. As she pushes the neat stack of books across the counter, I stand up and gather them in my arms. Here you are. Thank you. I guess we'll be meeting each other again. Please come here anytime. Yuko's kindness is heartwarming. Oh, you can count on it. See you later. Oh, why is there not a Yuko route? That woman is adorable. The morning of the track meet greets me with a brilliant sunshine from a crystal blue sky. While I leisurely stroll towards the track, I decide this is a good sign. Of what? I'm not sure. This event isn't as exciting for me as it seems to be for a large portion of the student body. I'm even less interested in watching sports than I am in participating, but cheering for me is a good cause. I'm not expecting this to be any sort of amazing and spectacular experience, but it can't hurt. I'd probably be spending the time reading while cooped up in my room otherwise. When I approach the bleachers, I spot Reen emerging from the crowd right before she spots me. You came. Of course, I said I would, didn't I? That doesn't necessarily imply that you had to follow through. Lots of people say things and don't mean them. Well, I don't. Rain shrugs, seemingly bored with our conversation. She turns on her heel and heads back towards the stands. So, are you excited about this? Not really. Me neither. Then, why did you come? Well, why did you? What are you doing here? What am I doing here? What are you doing here? She doesn't reply at all, so I decide not to either. We enter the bleachers and Rin nods upwards. Up there. Rin leads the way, and soon we're settled down on an almost empty bench. There's an older woman sitting next to Rin. Someone's mother, I assume. Hey, there she is. The MILF. She's got rather long hair done up in a braid. On seeing Rin, she gives her an oddly familiar seeming grin. Oh, this is surprising. I thought you went to get a snack, not a boy. Hisao is the snack. Uh-huh. I love how this is like a different alternative, like to Emmy's route a bit. This is no good? The woman laughs at Rain and shakes her head, apparently unable to find a comeback for that. I know the feeling. Well, I suppose you've always been one to go out for one thing and bring back another. Again, okay, putting it that, yeah, that sounds very ADHD too. Oh, but I'm being rude. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Meiko Ibarozaki. I'm sure that if you know this girl, you've at least met my daughter too. Pleased to meet you. Well, that explains it. She's like a taller, older, more motherly Emmy. Apart from her hair being somewhat darker than her daughter's, there's really no mistaking the resemblance. Oh, sorry. I'm Hisao. Hisao Nakai. Nice to meet you. I'm Rin Tenzuka. That, I don't know why that reminded me of... No. Plankton. Crabs. Plankton. Crabs. SpongeBob. Mrs. Ibarozaki laughs again. She really does resemble her offspring. And then leans back a little in her seat and raises an eyebrow. So now that we all know each other, how long have you and Rin been dating? My response consists of silence as my brain suddenly lurches into gear. Hold on. Brain is processing. It's buffering. But just before I can begin to utter a hastily babbled explanation, Emmy's mother bursts into laughter again. You're a blusher, aren't you? I don't know if there's any way to keep my dignity in this situation, so I settle for a mumbled response. Or not. I know, but it's funny to watch you squirm. I'm sorry, forgive an old woman her amusements. She chuckles again to herself. Old woman? She sure doesn't look that old to me. Perfect MILF. I suppose I can let it go. How kind of you. It's starting. I direct my attention to the track, where they're preparing for the first sprint. It looks like the 400-meter dash. Ah, there's Miki. My eyes scan the runners before finding Emmy. She's smiling with an almost cocky look on her face. The starter raises his pistol. Emmy explodes off the block, disappearing from the starting line in a blur. It's amazing. Even as the other sprinters converge on the lanes closest to the inside line, Emmy surges to the front of the pack. By the time she runs the final turn, a few of the other runners have caught up with her. But she puts on a final burst of speed that leaves them at least a half second behind. Mrs. Ibarazaki whoops and shouts, applauding wildly, and generally looking like any other parent cheering on their child. Annie bounds off the track, looking pleased with herself. I cheer right along with the rest of them. The announcer, sounding suspiciously like Misha, gleefully gives the results. I think she's gone faster since the last time. That was incredible. Mrs. Ibarazaki grins proudly. Emmy's a heck of a runner. We fall silent as the next event prepares to start. I'm surprised to see Emmy striding out on the track again. Wait, didn't she just run? Emmy's mother nods. Yes, but she runs multiple events for the team, especially the sprints. It's a lot of running, but Emmy can handle it. From the looks of things, she's right. Emmy doesn't appear to be tired, as if she hadn't run a previous event at all. If not for the sweat visible on her shirt, you'd never know. But which event is this? It's a 200-meter dash. She'll do this one, the 100-meter, and the relay. Oh, I see. Once again the pistol sounds, and once again Emmy flies off the block. A thumping sound draws my attention away from the race. It's Reen's foot. She seems completely absorbed in the race. Emmy's mother cheers again, and I assume that the race is over. Sprints don't seem to me like they'd take very long to complete. Your foot. Huh? Your foot was bouncing on the bleachers. Oh. You seem pretty into this stuff. I'm surprised. I thought you said this wouldn't be exciting. I suppose you're right. It's not that interesting. But I'm watching Emmy, not the sport. I don't follow. Emmy's the most Emmy when she runs. You don't get to see Emmy at her Emmyest very often. But here, you can. See? She directs my attention toward the track again, where the 100-meter dash is about to start. I watch Emmy closely. As she gets into the starter blocks, her whole body seems to relax, but it's a false relaxation. I can see that she's actually like a coiled spring. As the starter tells everyone to get set, her head snaps up and her eyes narrow slightly. Her mouth curls upward in what could be a grin and could be a growl. When the pistol goes off, it's as if she's been unleashed from a cage, like she was always moving at this blinding speed, but we couldn't see it happening until the starter's pistol dispelled the illusion of motionlessness. As soon as she crossed the finish line, the fierce look was replaced by her normal grin. The conquering general returning to his farm. Amazing. She's really amazing. I've never seen someone move that fast. I think it's interesting how there's already divergence obviously between Emmy and Reen's route. Where obviously that scene it made him think, oh wow, she's beautiful. Whereas here he's not really thinking it. He just thinks, oh wow, she's great, you know. Oh well, don't look at me. I'm far too relaxed to run that fast. No, I think Emmy's prowess all came from her father's side. The mention of Emmy's father, Mrs. Ibarazaki looks wistful, almost sad. He got her into running, you know. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I leave it at that, and don't say anything for a little while. I get the feeling this is something personal I shouldn't ask about. A beeping noise suddenly emanates from Mrs. Ibarazaki's pocket. Reaching into it, she pulls out a cell phone and looks at it. Honestly, text messages. What is he, 16? Huh? Oh, nothing. I gotta meet up with a friend of mine. Will you tell Emmy I'm very proud of her, and that I'll call her later tonight? Oh, of course. While waiting for the relay to start, I peer at Rin. She seems uninterested in her surroundings, myself included. That remark she made before is still stuck in my head. Emmy's the most Emmy when she runs. It does make sense now that I think about it. After seeing her run now, I can believe that Emmy gives her all on the track. Sports are more than a hobby or even a competition to her. They're a defining aspect of her life. What about Rin then? Does she feel the same way about art? Considering the persistence she displayed before the festival, I could easily believe it. Did I see Rin at her most Rin when she was painting the mural? The relay is about to begin, but I don't see Emmy anywhere. I thought Emmy ran the relay. She runs anchor. So she won't be running for a while yet. Ah. Did you see it? Huh? Emmy at her Emmyest. Maybe. Maybe this time. The race begins and I cheer Emmy's teammates along as they pass the baton. The nurse is calling. Oh yeah. That's what I was thinking too. It might have been the nurse. Not sure if you picked up on it, but Emmy's mom is... I had a feeling, especially with how much he knew, like, about Emmy's past and stuff. And then there was that one comment too, like when they were having the dinner at Emmy's house. I remember there was some mention with the nurse, and she was like, "Oh," there was something the mom said that made me think, "Okay, that sounds a little close-ish." Like you guys definitely keep contact with each other. I'm like, "What's up?" We just found out, well, confirmed really, that Emmy's mom's banging the nurse. But at the same time, I kind of see it makes sense. I know she's probably been hurting, obviously, she's a widow and all that. But I think with how much the nurse obviously has been helping Emmy throughout every part of her journey with prosthetics and stuff, even, you know, there would be time to obviously get, you know, talk to him more and more, and then seeing how much he cares about Emmy and all that. So, you know, something like that. It can get a girl, it can get a woman close. Finally, I see Emmy sprinting onto the track to take the final handoff. Once again, I'm taken aback by how graceful she looks when she runs. It really is beautiful. The look of determination and fearlessness on her face only adds to the picture. Emmy at her Emmyest, I suppose. Emmy flies across the finishing line with a great leap, just barely ahead of the next runners, but still in first. Well, let's go down. Gotta crown the victor. See if we can find a laurel branch. That's not gonna be easy. Rin shrugs. At least we tried. Emmy's surrounded by her teammates, all of them congratulating her on the run. Rin seems to be waiting for Emmy to notice that she's arrived. It didn't seem her style to draw attention to herself, or to emote beyond shrugging. Being more impatient than Rin, I wave to Emmy in her stead. She looks up and grins happily at us. Whoa, that was weird right now. Did you see that transition? It made the people in the back freak out. The biggest difference between Emmy's and Rin's during this section is that he saw Rin. Don't notice Emmy stumbling, limping on the last race. Oh yeah, you're right. Hey, you showed up! We would have brought you a crown of laurels, but he saw didn't find one. Neither did you. It wasn't my job to look. When did we assign jobs? When I said, see if you can find a laurel branch. Oh god. Oh god, that made me choke on my spit. She's so fucking snarky, I love it. Try to keep up. I shrug as rain's rubbing off on me. Seems it's my fault after all, Emmy. Emmy laughs at Rain and me. It's okay. I'm sure you'll make it up to me somehow. Sure. Breathe, damn it. Good. So, how'd I look? Very impressive. Emmy seems pleased with this assessment. I don't mention how much more impressive her performance is, given her lack of legs. I figure she knows that already. Besides, it seems like it would take away from her efforts somehow. Great to hear. I was worried that I looked a little slow on the relay, but I guess I did fine, huh? Emmy giggles and then seems to remember something. Oh, before I forget. Rain and I are going to do something next Sunday as a post-track meet celebration. You should come along. Normally we do the day after, but since today is Sunday, I've got homework and class and all that stuff to take care of. Oh sure, I'd love to. Great, it's a promise then. Oh right, your mom wanted to say she's proud of you. She'll call you later tonight. I thought I saw her in the stands. I'm glad she made it. Hey Emmy, you're gonna miss the medal ceremony. Oh, yeah, thanks. She turns to Rain and myself. You don't have to stick around for this part. It takes forever. Besides, you should get cracking on your homework now if you don't want to be up late, Hisao. Emmy skips back to her teammates, leaving me and Rain by ourselves. Neither of us has the slightest interest in the post-competition ceremony, so we silently get away and back to the quad. Rain yawns without even trying to restrain herself and shuffles her feet around restlessly. I feel awkward, but less so than if I was with someone else. Still, I'm left hanging, not knowing what I should say next. Emmy was great, wasn't she? She was great. I am very jealous of her. Why? Like I said, don't you think it's great to be able to really be yourself? Sounds weird coming from Rain. That kind of sounds like masking. Which is also kind of odd because, like, it already seems like she is herself because, you know, unless... Unless there's a possibility she is repressing a lot of things. Things that are like, I don't know, I want to say kind of fucked up a bit, but you know, like dark or just not normal, like really not normal, and you know, like, and she just feels weird that, you know, like I have these thoughts, I have these things, you know, like going on in my head, but obviously I can't tell people because if I tell people about what I'm actually thinking, then they know something's wrong with me. Something more wrong than what is already obvious as it is, you know. But I don't know, maybe I'm might be thinking too much into it. Because I'm still wondering about that one scene in the animated thing, the little video, the clip show thing. It was like when she was painting, and there's a moment when as she's painting, you know, she has like there's like a quick transition of like really chaotic like images and stuff, and then it seems like she snaps out of it, and then she looks at a painting of herself. So I'm trying to fit in like what that means into what's happening with her. Because now I'm kind of wondering, like, maybe is this just a calm exterior, but inside she's like off. She is chaos down inside. Which also kind of makes me think that maybe she really is like a mix of autism and ADHD. ADHD. Like, two brains in one person. One wants order, the other one wants chaos. Chaos and spontaneity. I don't think you, of all people, should have trouble finding a way to express yourself. Don't you have your paintings? She turns to look at me. For the first time I see in her eyes this strange, hollow expression that I think must be unique to her. No. You see, the problem is that I'm not really sure who I am. Today's art club meeting is currently on hold while everyone waits for Nomiya to show up. I take this time to try and explain my theory about Yamago to Rin. I don't know who I am. Oh man, I have quite a bit of theories, but there's just so many right now that it's hard to really narrow it down. Because that in itself is so vague, yet just specific enough that it kind of gives you an idea of some things, but at the same time, it in itself is a cluster of things. So it's really hard to tell what exactly she means by that. I'm kind of wondering if this is a case where you need to play this one in particular twice to fully understand it. And then you like, I don't know, maybe you see these things and you're like, oh, that all makes sense now, kind of thing. Ugh. All right. I tried to figure out what exactly about the school feels so special to me. That concept I unsuccessfully tried to explain to Yuko the other day. It's still difficult, but the track meet and the time I've spent observing my fellow students have helped my ideas mature a little. Playing it twice wouldn't be a bad idea, huh? Have you noticed that people talk all the time? I can't really explain it, but once again, as I try to explain my observation, I'm struggling for words. The student body's heavily clicked, and I'm only now beginning to make sense of the intricate grouping and popularity networks. And yet, the feeling of being a part of a group is stronger here than I remember it being in my old schools. Oh, right. I remember Lily made a mention of this too. And this is what she was explaining about Hanako. Like, yes, Hanako can be more readily accepted here at Yamako, where there's more disabled people and all that stuff, you know? But at the same time, that doesn't stop, the kids here from making clicks. Alright, I spent time wondering for the day just thinking and ruminating. And of course, when there's still clicks, then obviously Hanako could still end up being like, like ostracized in a way, yeah. Well, not ostracized really, but it's more like there's still a sense of togetherness with, the cliques, and Hanako doesn't feel like she's a part of it. I'm trying to say that this school isn't like other schools, or at least the students aren't, even after discounting the obvious. Did you know what I mean? I don't know what you mean. Well, whatever then. I want to pursue the issue, but at that point, Nomiya arrives. The teacher is wiping sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief and breathing rather heavily. He quickly glances over the room, then settles down a bit. Hello, hello. Apologies for being late. Is everyone present? Good. I must confess, I haven't really planned anything for today, as I have been extremely busy lately, but I'm sure we can come up with something entertaining. Anyone have any suggestions? I was thinking we could have a discussion circle, since we haven't had one in a while. I, at least, found the last one magnificently enjoyable. There are some murmurs here and there, but nobody raises their voice in support of or against Nomiya. We could delve into the various movements of art, or does someone have a good topic in mind? Come on, throw it out there. It doesn't matter if it's silly or odd, we can always cook up something interesting. Nobody seems to be brave enough to make such a suggestion. As the awkward silence refuses to be broken, I lift my hand in the air. Oh-ho, our newest friend seems to have something on his mind. Speak up, my boy, speak up. Well, I don't know about anyone else, but I've always wondered why art exists in the first place. My voice trails off, a silence set in the room, and nobody makes a follow-up on my meek suggestion. Then the teacher bursts into laughter. Excellent. Very good indeed. Right out of the gate with a big one, huh? Fabulous. Chuckling, he shifts some papers around in his desk for a few moments. When he's done, he appears to have made some sort of decision. Very well then, let's run with this and see where it gets us, shall we? Oh my, even an old fogey like me gets excited when such a delicious enthusiasm is present. Oh my indeed. Oh, what the fuck, he's slow. Why do we have that expression in particular? Ugh. Let me gather my thoughts a moment so I can figure out a good starting point for everyone. For some reason, the teacher seems to be almost literally bursting with excitement. He scribbles a few things down on the loose sheet of paper, then cleans his glasses with the handkerchief. He strikes a pose and freezes for an overly dramatic, artistic pause that spans what must be half a minute. It's so quiet I can hear a pin drop. First, let's come up with a few questions that we want answered, such as, what is art, and why does art exist? Anyone have any questions that might be related? The boy with sunglasses pipes up almost immediately. His voice is soft and quiet, and I have a hard time making out what he says. What defines an artist? After I have another question comes up. If I fill a cardboard box with water and call it art, is it art? Everyone laughs at that, even the teacher. Oh great, wonderful, all of these. Let me start by saying that this is not a clear-cut issue by any means, and as such, I am not going to give any answers to you. I'm only going to speak from my own perspective. Scholars have argued about these sorts of questions since time immemorial, and there has never really been a broadly applicable consensus reached. There are, however, some qualities that most tend to generally agree upon. Hopefully, you all should find these acceptable as well. In short, art defines itself. It simply cannot be contained to a definition from the outside, since the boundaries of art expand and contract from forces within. Every day, someone somewhere comes up with something completely outrageous that challenges any and all preconceptions. The core reason for that is rather than the rational side of the mind, art appeals to the intuition, the instinct, the primal. You would find it very hard to explain why exactly it is that you enjoy some particular style or piece, no? He doesn't wait for a response before continuing. Postmodernism, art, or as I like to call it, the death of art. This is exactly why. So, art is this sort of wild, uncontrollable thing that lurks somewhere deep in our subconscious. Now, why does it exist? Nomiya apparently expects someone to pipe up with a guess, but as nobody dares to interrupt this inspired speech, he continues. It was a trick question. You see, art also validates itself. Generally speaking, you might say that art exists for no other purpose than itself. It's something that exists merely to leave a mark in history. It's the defiance of a mortal against the face of darkness, as was once said. Art is truly the proof of our existence. You all should know that human culture and civilization are tightly tied to the existence of art. Then, what about artists? What drives a man to dedicate his life to a thing so fickle and mysterious that it even defies definition? There are as many answers for this as there are artists, but I had to put it into words. An artist doesn't make art because he can, but because he must. Nomiya takes a pause, and his gaze sweeps over his audience, eyes flaring with passion. It is obvious that art touches the very soul of each and every human being in one way or another. So, if you were given a chance to connect with your fellow man in such a fundamental way, how could you not? There's a poem I'm very much fond of, and I shall recite the most well-known part of it to you now. Hold on. Sorry, a yawn was interrupting me. I feel that, for me personally, of all possible things, it captures best the essence of what it means to be an artist. Nomiya leans against the desk as he clears his throat in preparation. Looking at some distant place, he utters the words in the heavy afternoon air with his soft, basso voice. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. There's a solemn and unbelievably awkward silence after he finishes reciting the short fragment. Nobody dares speaks a word. The mirror clears his throat again. To be an artist is to see the world in a grain of sand. You see, dear children, without art, there would not be much to live for in this world. It is the most profound thing. He is clearly touched by this notion. I always expect to see a lone tear rolling down his rough cheek, but it never comes. I turned to Rain and whispered to her. So, how is this a discussion circle? She shrugs nonchalantly back at me. The previous ones were the same. To his credit, Nomiya does try to get some debate going, but the club seems to be reluctant to comply. I feel a bit guilty about opening my mouth. Maybe I would have been spared from this. Wait, the sex music was playing in the moment there? Oh no. As the meeting comes to a close, I realize we haven't once touched any paint or pens today, and I feel somewhat disappointed. Nomiya suddenly appears next to us. He seems to be still fired up from the speech he delivered. His cologne smells musky and saccharine at the same time. Give me an instant headache, even though I'm not sensitive to perfumes. He's looking at Rain like a hungry wolf. Let's see, it's called To Become One. It's pretty obvious what it's referencing. Oh. Yeah. Tsuka, do you remember Mrs. Sayonji who visited us at the festival? I think so. I'm going to tell you something amazing. The thing is, she's a very well-known gallerist around here. It turns out I might be able to get her to consider having some of your work put on display. He ends his sentence with a dramatic gesture. It seems he's expecting Ring to show some sort of joyous, shocked reaction at such grand news. But she just stares at him blankly. Magnificent, isn't it? This could be a real chance for us to get ahead, girl. But... Now, I know what you're about to say. Yes, it wouldn't be a simple affair, but I think this is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we even made it big. This could be the first step. And then when the word is out, we strike while iron is hot. Right, Nakai? Yeah, it sounds pretty great, if you're into that kind of thing. See, we should definitely not let this one pass, am I right? I don't, really. I mean, this seems to be trouble for some reason. I can't figure out why. What Nomiya is saying does indeed sound like a possibly great thing. She looks pretty down, though, and confused. I've never seen her like this. Maybe because it's a lot of fucking pressure? So, what do you think? Rain looks up to her teacher's glowing face, then back down at her desk. I'll think about it. Nomiya is at last taken slightly aback by Rain's lack of superlative delight. Then he smiles wildly at her and gently pats her head. Good girl. That was a little weird, okay. The club meeting is finally over, and as I lazily collect my things and help clean up, I start feeling exhausted for some reason. There isn't much to do, however, so it's over quickly. I catch up to Reen, who left the club room just a moment earlier. So we're walking down the stairs to the ground floor while I try to go over Nomiya's passionate speech about art. And Reen seems to be lost in thought. Not an unusual state for her, I've learned, but something about her expression makes me feel uneasy. Any for your thoughts? That'd be too cheap. That'd be too cheap. That'd be too cheap. You're just overpricing your thoughts. I wouldn't be able to sell them anyway. I'm not sure what I'm thinking yet. That'd be fraud too. Like stealing candy from a baby. That's theft, not fraud. I have to think about what I think. Is this about what the teacher said? Getting your work put on display and all that? She doesn't answer, but stops in her tracks as we reach the lobby. We're the only people around, so it's very quiet. Footsteps echo from the few floors up as someone hurries along a hallway. I think I'm going to go elsewhere. No, somewhere elsewhere. I think she really is trouble. Want company? I can't promise much help with the thinking, but it's not like I have much else to do. And I'm supposed to do some light exercise. If you like. Reen leads me outside, to the wall behind the dormitories. There is a small back gate there, made from the same wrought iron as the main gate. It leads to the shadowy woodland park behind the school. The gate is rusty, as if it hadn't seen much use. However, it sits open. So we pass through. It's not forbidden for students to leave the grounds, but somehow I feel a little uneasy. Whoa, where the fuck are we going? The path leads deeper into the forest. Oh, fuck. Get out of here, cursor. Tall Zokova and maple trees rustle in the wind, their canopies creating patches of chill air hanging in the places where the shadows fall. The forest smells strongly of earth. I almost feel cold, even though the midsummer day is as hot as ever. Rin trudges ahead like a sleepwalker, sure-footed but with no apparent destination in mind. Her thoughts seem to be somewhere else. I follow a few steps behind, taking more care to watch where my feet land. The path follows the land uphill at a low angle, sometimes making little detours downhill before climbing back upward. They made of brown and gray trunks. They made brown and gray trunks lining the path on both sides, peppered with ferns and other undergrowth. After a little while, I start getting worried. The path is still wide and clear, so there's no chance of getting lost, but it doesn't look like we have any particular destination. This is how you get murdered, he's out. There's nothing wrong with a bit of aimless wandering around, but I don't want to go so far that I get too tired to walk back. I'm afraid I'm starting to get a little winded and my legs feel heavy. I want to stop and get a chance to catch my breath and rest my legs, but Reen keeps on going. Where are we going? Or are we going anywhere at all? Worry tree. I see. So what exactly is the worry tree? It's just a tree. Like this. She stops in front of a particularly large maple that might or might not be the worry tree. Its lush green leaves sway lightly in the breeze, blowing through the small clearing and being entered. I guess as much. There are people who believe that you must come here to wallow in misery. If you are miserable, only by people I mean me, and the rest isn't really called anything. So, if you're miserable, you talk to a tree about it? No. What? No, you can't talk to trees. What do you think I am, crazy? No, I didn't mean it like that. Or maybe you talk to trees. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that you're crazy. Even though you probably are if you talk to trees. I wouldn't recommend it in either case. People will think you're a weird person. No, just forget it. She looks mildly confused, for which I don't blame her at all. She tilts her head a little to the side, expression melting back to her usual one. Alright. I'm good at forgetting things. Okay, that's another ADHD thing, forgetting things. So, why are we here? Are you miserable then? Can't read the expression she makes. I hate how bad I am at interpreting Rin's mood. She doesn't answer right away, as if she herself isn't quite certain of her own mood. The blank stare changes into a more difficult expression as she shuffles her weight around. Finally coming to a conclusion, Rin shrugs her shoulders. I've grown to seriously dislike that gesture. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe. I just feel kind of like I'm sinking underwater. I don't know what I should do. I don't know where I should go. That's all. Maybe it's not a big deal, but I thought walking might help. Kind of like if I go somewhere, I would know where I should go. I don't really know if I did. It really would have made sense if walking had helped to decide where to go. So you don't want to try to get an, so you don't want to try to get an exhibition, or rather, you don't know if you do. You can't decide. Rain doesn't say anything for a while, arranging her thoughts in silence. The quiet is broken by birdsong from somewhere in the treetops, followed by rustling leaves as the bird takes flight. Maybe. I'm not sure if I can have a thing like that. So far, I've only painted for myself. I don't think I could have my things on display the way I am now. This me couldn't do it. Her reason sounds like a weak excuse. I make my trademark frown, but she doesn't notice it. I don't get it. The teacher certainly thinks you could. I don't think he suggested otherwise. Sounds like he's calling in favors from his friends, too. Alright, give me a second. I need water. Also, Jesus Christ, hold on. I'm gonna get some socks on because this room is getting cold. Give me a second. I really crank up the AC in at night. I know. He's really done a lot for me. But this might be too much. Becoming someone who can do it might be pretty hard. Maybe I couldn't do it at all. He can't do it for me. And if I let him try, I just sink deeper and deeper. Do not tell me that this is something that she is good at, in a way, but she doesn't like it. Because I've heard of that. Some people say, like, oh yeah, you're really good at that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't like it though. Oh man. That would explain that she's not really being herself. Maybe there's something else she wants to do. Maybe she only thinks of art as just a hobby and not like, not something she wants to do a career in. Or or she might be having some kind of like really hard imposter syndrome. So much I want to say, but can't. Oh. Ren stands in front of the large maple and turns away from me. I want to close the few feet of distance between us, and I don't know. My irritation is suddenly gone, and I start feeling sympathetic to her. I know exactly how you feel. Well, maybe I don't, but still. I think I haven't felt like I was actually in control of my own life this whole year. I'm just helplessly going along with the flow. Like, coming here to the school. I didn't really choose it myself, and I certainly didn't choose this time in my life to learn that I have this condition. I still can't usually say the word aloud. It's like, yeah, it's exactly like being underwater. Like, I can't even breathe. Rain turns to face me again, a sad expression on her face. Is that why you look so sad all the time? I don't want to look sad like you. Do I look to you like you look to me? I don't look sad all the time. I just don't know what I should be feeling, what kind of face I should be making. You're kind of depressed, you sound. That's what it sounds like. Me neither. Do I look sad now? Not really. You look like you always do, I think. But I'm sinking. I should try to float. Up like a rubber duck. Quack, quack, all yellow and creepy. Creepy. I had to think for a few seconds about which direction I should pursue in this conversation. Then I realized that it doesn't matter. You think rubber ducks are creepy? If you don't? I think they look very creepy. Everything that has eyes but isn't alive is very disturbing. Like rubber ducks and reflections in mirrors. She pops down the forest bed, leaning on the maple she named the worry tree. After wondering what to do for a minute, I sit down too, 3 feet apart from her. The forest envelops us in its embrace, and its stillness falls upon the two of us. We sit there without speaking for a long while. I can literally feel the time passing. Patches of sunlight litter the small clearing in a pattern that echoes the maple canopies. One of them falls directly on me, warming me all the way to the bone. I wonder what I could do for myself. Maybe for Reen. For now, I just keep watching her from this distance. Sometimes she cranes her neck all the way to look back. So much that it looks almost painful, and stares up at the small patch of sky visible past the canopy of the worry tree. Sometimes she just stares blankly ahead, as if seeing something just beyond her reach. She keeps whispering to herself, but so quietly that I can't hear her, even though I'm sitting right next to her. I only see her lips moving, like she's in the middle of a distant dream. I realize that right now, I no longer feel any of the intense loneliness I feel at night, just before falling asleep. I might be more like Reen than I thought. I can either give up and stay submerged under the weight of all the crap in my life, or try to change myself for the better. Her decision is different yet the same, and unlike her, I know for sure that I can't stay like this forever. I have to change. Oh. Oh boy. That's a big save there, ain't it? Things you like, we'll put it right here. Yes. Progress success saved. Oh man. Hmm. Uh, I mean, shit balls. You're depressed, buddy. Looking back on it, he's a little depressed. It's because he's depressed. I think that's why he feels bothered slightly when he sees like all these people talking and having fun and all that stuff. Like seeing so much positive energy kind of throws you, who's depressed, a little off of it. It's like, oh, must be nice. And It seemed like Rin was a little nervous about being the same too, right there. She had said, "Do I like? Am I gonna end up looking sad like you?" So I don't think she liked the idea if we were trying to imitate her. And Emmy, as a base, just seems like pretty cheerful girl. Uh, okay, I'll go in. Emmy probably has done it. What the? I just noticed something. The way it's moving. That's not me touching the mouse pad or anything. Hold on. Hold on. Let me just move it there. That's me moving the mouse, actually. Oh, what the hell? What? Why is it moving like that? I'm not even touching it, I swear. Like, I am not touching it. Whoa. What did I do? I only touched the mouse pad. Oh my god. Like, the actual... Okay. Alright, I think we're good. The mouse is somehow freaking out, though, over there. Um... Okay, hold on. Let me turn on the mouse again. Maybe keeping the mouse here, like, actually on kinda helps. Oh, that is so weird, though. I don't know why it's doing that. Like, the cursor should not be freaking out like that. Like, just jiggling slightly like that. That's... Like, I'm keeping my hand off the mouse, and it's still doing that. Oh, how weird. That's gonna bother me for a good minute. Oh, just, your mouse is trying to tell you something. Okay, that wasn't me. Why is it moving like that? Stop. Stop. Okay, hold on. This time I'm actually touching the mouse pad. It actually makes it stop freaking out. Stop it. I just wanted to do it with your mouse sensor happened to me. Oh, maybe, yeah. Hang on. Maybe it needs to be wiped a little bit. Hang on. Okay, I think it stopped. What I did was I kind of like pushed slightly on the, Oh, okay, never mind. Wait a minute. Oh, I know what it is. Okay. So you know how like a cord sometimes has electrical current flowing through it? So my headset wire was touching the mouse, well, not the mouse, sorry, the gamepad of my PS5 controller that I have to the side over here. I'm just gonna move the controller away on the other side of the computer. And now this should stop. Yeah, it was literally picking up on the movement of that for some reason. Like the wire was making it move. That is amazing. I did not know the gamepad on the freaking controller worked as well like that. That's, huh, you learned something new. It's more floaty when I do that though. I only tap it lightly and like it feels like it flies across. Interesting. Huh, okay. Learn something new every day, yeah? Alright, but that should keep it from freaking out so much. Alright, minor distraction aside. Emmy probably has done it. She's so happy and energetic. A runner girl without legs. If anyone has beaten up a disability, it must be her. It makes me feel a little bit better, too. And I lean back against the tree, breathing out deeply as if for the first time in a long time. We stay that way in the small clearing until the angle of the sun changes and the chilly shadows deepen. No longer warm where we sit, we leave the forest, returning along the same path we took coming in. It doesn't seem like Reen has come to a decision. I wonder if it was a bad idea for me to come along. It's alright. I don't mind. I'm sure the trees and dirt and rocks won't mind either. Did you mind? No, no, not at all. I think it helped me too. While I walk back towards the dormitories, the sky is changing to a deep ultramarine. The first summer stars twinkle softly from between the spots in the canopy, barely visible like tiny fireflies. I become very self-conscious about Rin's presence. I haven't thought much about girls since things fell apart with Iwanako. This is kind of the same situation as then, but to be honest, I don't think it really counts for much. Not with Rin. And yet, it feels good walking next to her, even if it isn't anything more than this. At first, I think Rin agitated me quite a bit with her unpredictable behavior. But recently, I feel I haven't had to be on my toes so much. I've managed to let myself go a little. It makes me feel satisfied, even though ultimately, I think it's more thanks to Rin than myself. She seems to be disinterested in a huge number of things, but something in her makes me try harder than I normally would. It's not that I want to impress her. I think that truly impressing Rin would take a near superhuman effort just because of how she is. Instead, it's because there's this relentless feeling inside of me that I shouldn't let Rin down. It's really weird. I wonder why I started thinking like that. I don't even know what sort of expectations she has about pretty much anything. So how could I let her down? Rin has this unassuming air around her. And she doesn't really talk about stuff very often. Even today's confession of her self-doubt caught me a little bit off guard. I feel like I want to talk more with her. The realization suddenly dawns on me that Rin is basically the only person I talk to nowadays, apart from whatever I had to endure from Shizune, Misha, or Kenji. I feel slightly depressed. In front of the dormitories, as if summoned by my dark thoughts, we run to Kenji himself. Oh my god. Feels very odd seeing him outside, breathing fresh outdoor air. At least it's already dusk. I partially expect Kenji would disintegrate upon direct exposure to the sun. Kenji himself seems very insecure as well, standing around looking like he's waiting for something, but doesn't know himself what it might be. Hey Kenji, what are you doing? Hello. Oh my god, who are you? It's me, Hisao. I'm not sure if you know Tezuka from Class 3-4. Why did the music get tense? From his face, I can see that not only he doesn't know Rin, he also can't see her from this short distance. Oh, sup, dudes? Oh my god, he probably thinks she's a boy because of her outfit. Oh my god, yeah, she's wearing the boys. uh Kenji sticks his hand enthusiastically forward, almost straight into Rin's stomach. Rin looks at his outstretched hand in confusion, until Kenji clears his throat and retracts the hand. There's something almost cool that he manages to do with social awkwardness. It's not like I'm the most suave man on the planet, but I don't think I'll ever be able to even approach Kenji's level. I think I respect Kenji a little bit more. Oh, so you're waiting for someone? He gets closer and lowers his voice to an agitated whisper. I feel his facial muscles twitching. Oh, I see his facial muscles twitching. Come on, man. You know I can't talk about stuff here in public. You might be listening. I'm gonna have to go pick up some stuff from somewhere, and I don't want those snooping student council hacks to get on my case. Also, I don't trust your friend. Nothing personal. Are you sure he's trustworthy? I briefly considered telling Kenji about Rin's gender, but as it might end up badly for one or both of them, I decided against it. Yeah, I'm sure. He turns from me to Rin, and I immediately get the feeling that I have to prevent them from talking to each other with whatever means necessary. However, there's little I can do now, apart from physical violence. In that case, would you be interested in knowing about the worst threat to mankind since they invented vegetarianism? Okay, no, that time was my hand actually touching the mouse pad because it's next to the... It's next to the spacebar. He sounds like a vacuum cleaner salesman. I thought it was Sunday. I see you're not in the know. Yeah, man, I'm talking about man-eating cows here. Very few people know what I know, so I'm not surprised. We can't talk here. But if you'd like a pamphlet, come to my room after curfew on Mondays or Wednesdays. He suddenly reaches to his pocket and draws out a ballpoint pen and what looks like a convenience store receipt. Kenji fiercely scribbles on the scrap of paper and then thrusts it towards Rin. Here's the password. Memorize it, and then eradicate any trace of this document. Eat it, burn it, dissolve it in acid, whatever. I take the receipt from Kenji as Rin is unable to do so and glance at it. It's indeed a receipt. Apparently for 2 rice balls and 5 boxes of matches. I hope he's not planning to burn anything down. On the other side is written just one word. Honey muffin. You know what? I'm gonna use that with Icy. Just gonna call him Honey Muffin, see how long it's gonna take for him to realize. Because he's going through Rin's route too, so yeah. I show it to Rin too, but she shows no reaction. Thank you. Yo, Hisao, you still in that club? The Club of Dark Arts? Fine art. Anyway, yeah, I actually just had a meeting today. Still got your wits about you. No shady mind tricks going on. Nothing personal, man, but I have to be on top of things. Can't get caught up with my pants down. Speaking of which, you should really take showers a bit later. Gotta respect that personal space. Nothing personal. Kenji looks around as if he heard something, and then straightens his jacket. Okay, I gotta scoot now before it gets too late. Later, dudes. Good luck. Kenji takes off rapidly towards the main gate. Rin looks after him, frowning. We watch after Kenji's diminishing figure in silence. Oh, what's wrong with him? Technically speaking, I think he's legally blind. Oh, I see. I like how that's the one thing they go to. Like, technically, I think he's legally blind, not that he's fucking crazy. I can really tell from the envelope that's not a... It's... Oh, shit, it's Iwanako's letter. That's not about official matters of any sort. Someone actually wrote me an old-fashioned, handwritten paper letter. What bothers doing something like that in this day and age anyway? Oh, sorry, who bothers? Yet, as unlikely as the prospect of receiving one sounds, there's definitely a letter lying on my desk. Alright. See you, Tier. Welcome. Thanks for... welcome. Oh, God. Thanks for making it to the stream. Have a good sleep. Canon event time. Oh, yeah. You can't stop it. It's a canon event. It really is, though, because it happens in every route. And how he reacts is always different. That's what I found neat, that his reaction is different in each route. The classes for the day are over. Still feeling pretty full from the big lunch that I had unexpectedly eaten at the cafeteria. I returned to my dorm, planning on finishing my homework and probably skipping dinner, or at least just eating light. I feel like I need to eat less than I used to. Maybe I don't use that much energy now? No, sorry. Maybe I don't use that much energy, now that I don't do much beyond reading. However, the letter on my desk has naturally caught my interest. Oh man, it's the first piece of mail I've received here at Yamaku. so it feels special even if it wasn't something as rare as a handwritten letter. What causes me even more trepidation is the name of the sender, written neatly on the back of the envelope. Iwanako. I have no idea why she would write to me. I haven't been in contact with anyone from my old school since I transferred, and Iwanako is the last person I expect to want to write me a letter. The last time I saw Iwanako was terribly awkward, embarrassingly so. She came to my hospital room, peeled me an apple out of courtesy, and then we practically sat in silence for half an hour. She said goodbye and didn't look me in the eye when she closed the door. It might have been a natural end to the series of visits that were probably pretty painful for both of us. Every time she visited me in the hospital, I wanted to talk to her, but something stopped me every time. Every time that I didn't speak made the next time even harder. Iwanaka always had this aura of fragility around her, as if she'd shatter into pieces at the slightest disturbance. Initially, I think it might have been that delicacy that attracted me to her. But after what happened back then, it felt as if she really had shattered. Alright, hold on, water time. Okay. She looked so sad that I didn't want to say anything that might upset her, and I never could figure out the right words to say. I told her that it wasn't her fault. She nodded, and I really think she understood that if it hadn't been that, then sooner or later something else would have made my heart give out. Yet, she looked so hopelessly sad every time she opened that door and entered my room. So I never managed to say the things I wanted to say. In the end, that might have hurt her even more. Carefully, I opened the envelope and drew out the folded letter within. I'm sure you will. Okay, yeah, this is basically the same thing as before, right? Like, it doesn't change. Final exam, teachers are badgering us all the time, yeah. Would you believe it? Yeah, this is the exact same thing, yeah. I think things like that are the main reason why the mood among the third years is so nervous. He had always fared reasonably well in exams. It's because I felt that there are things I should have said after the incident back in winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to see them in person. I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you at the hospital made me worried about you. I'm not talking about your health. You seemed to become more distant and disheartened. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure, but somehow I got the feeling that you had given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe. I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I am really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most, even though I like you so much. At least now finally I can be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you to not give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. I hope you managed to get back on your feet on your own. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so it really was the same thing. I guess I was just reading that part to refresh my own memory. After finishing reading the letter, I folded it like it was and placed it on the desk. I don't know what to think of this. I feel empty and confused. Why now, after all this time? Just yesterday, I decided that I can't let myself stay like this, that I try to get on top of my life. Reading this letter just reminds me of what could have been. Of course, I wish that I didn't have to be here. I'd want to be in the same class with Iwanako again. Maybe we could talk every day now and go on dates. My life didn't go like that. I didn't really need to be reminded of this. Iwanako needed to write this letter for her own sake, and I'm glad for her that she could. But it would have been better if I hadn't read it. Of course, she is right. I thought of the same thing yesterday. Oh, excuse me. I have fallen into a pit of depression, and now have to try to climb out. I rip out a page from my notebook. Oh, god damn it. And after a moment of thinking how to frame my words, write a short reply to Wanako. I find it difficult to be really honest to her, but at least I could try to appear somewhat convincing. I don't write her about Yamako at all. I doubt she'll write me again, but I don't feel all that sad about it. I fold my own letter to her, and as I have no envelope, I set it next to Wanako's. I'll mail it to her later. Then, I lie back on my bed, looking at the monotone gray ceiling. A bird sings outside my window, and a sudden gust of wind flutters my curtains. The summer afternoon feels still, as if time had stopped for a brief moment. I think about all the things I've lost and will never again regain. Oh man. Thus, the languid days of mid-June passed by. I mailed my letter to Wanako and received no reply. Having decided to ditch the old me, I started observing my fellow students even closer than I did before, hoping to understand how other people cope with their own issues. I started seeing things I didn't before. It makes me wonder if I've been wrong twice. Well. Superficially, everyone is abnormal, yet so strikingly normal that it shocked me at first. I admired the way my new schoolmates turned my prejudices around just like that. Simply by being themselves. Oh man, the yawns are starting to hit me. Now that I've gotten used to it, I begin noticing other kinds of tones in the people surrounding me every day. There's a soft, numb sadness all around me. I can see the effort everyone has to make just to get through the day, and how it weighs on their shoulders, like it weighs on mine. Even the brightest smile is just slightly subdued. Every outburst of annoyance just slightly dampened. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. Oh, man. Okay. I try to think what it means, what I can learn from others. I wonder if deep down everyone is as lost as I am. Is there even one person in here who has truly found peace? I start to feel doubtful about myself once again. I can't decide whether these people are happy, unhappy, or they just learn to cope and now live in an unfeeling limbo like I did all spring. I escaped from these feelings in the towering piles of books I carried to my room. From Yugo's sanctuary. Okay. After realizing that this will just shut me down even more, I started going to the archives room more often, usually whenever I can. Oh, damn it. Press the wrong button. Rin, too, seems to spend more time in there than in her own classroom. I've often seen her totter towards the door at the very end of our corridor. That wooden door in the room behind it, smelling of paint and paper, seemed to mean more to her than the rest of the world combined. She says she has special permission to use the room, which I don't doubt at all. I don't think Nomiya would deny Rin anything. He seems to dote on her like an uncle upon a favorite niece. The object of his affection, Riz. Wait, what? I just blur that out, honestly. Well, she does have a bit of her own Riz, I guess. Yeah, whatever. The object of affection, however, has no favorites. She says she appreciates the teacher a lot for going the extra mile for her sake. But even when she says that, her expression is the same as always. You're losing it, yeah. I honestly just blurted it out when... before, like, I don't know, my brain hadn't even finished the thought and then it just came out of my mouth. It's as if she was talking about a particularly unremarkable rock that she saw the other day. I can't really figure out their relationship. At least as you said it like this. Yeah. Yeah, it was more like a, why did I say that? Oh man. Rin doesn't seem to let anyone close. I don't think even Emmy could say she's crossed the gap that seems to separate Rin from the rest of the world. I don't understand it. She seems so indifferent yet so passionate at the same time. Somewhere the school bell rings, the last call of the day. Sasha really hit you all at once, huh? It kind of did hit me in that moment, yeah. But I guess my confusion woke me up. At least it's happening toward the last bit of the stream. And not like toward the middle or the beginning. I would have hated if I was getting tired so early. So I'm glad I've hung on like this long. I realize I've been zoning out for who knows how long. Days I sit up straighter, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. The pungent smells of linseed oil and turpentine mix in my nostrils as I draw a deep breath. I feel drowsy and lightheaded. Sorry this late. A few club members left early, so it's just me, Rin, the teacher, and two of the girls who are also about to leave. Rin is sitting to my right, slowly working on a painting while I'm idling the time away. I don't think she realizes I've been watching her this whole time. With a nimble move of her delicate angle, she dips the brush into crimson paint and presses it lightly into the canvas. The stain spreads around as if the brush was bleeding. Her progress has slowed down to a crawl. By now I've learned that this is dangerous for her technique, as the paint must not be allowed to dry before she's finished. It occurs to me that I'm literally watching paint dry, and somehow I'm not feeling bored, despite spacing out just now. Most of the time the art club is very relaxed and freeform, apart from times when Nomiya gets really excited about some technique or style he wants to teach us about. Everyone is free to pursue their own interests. Lacking one, I keep floating around without a direction. I try this and that, but nothing really leaves me with a deeper impression. Not to mention that I don't seem to have a special knack for anything. Good old master of none. Well, I did get praise for my attempts at watercolors, and I felt pretty good about that myself, but that's it. I suppose it's to be expected. I joined the art club mostly on a whim after all. I'm thinking that maybe I should quit the club. It's going to be this pointless. But there's nothing really wrong with pointlessness, and I can't exactly say I'm unhappy. Unsatisfied maybe, but I've got only myself to blame for that. As a pair of girls exit the club room with a cheerful bye-bye, Nomiya stands up from his desk. His chair scoots back with a loud screech that breaks the harmony of the quiet afternoon. He taps a... Wait, what? He taps a pot... Okay. Okay. Okay, no, that makes more sense, because I was only reading that first part and it didn't make sense until I saw hands. He taps the pile of papers in his hands twice against the tabletop in order to straighten them, then stretches his back. I have a faculty meeting to attend, so I can't stay. I'll have to do some paperwork later. So, if you want to stay, we can talk then. Sorry about this. There are two people here, but he's really talking to only one of us. Nomiya spends extra hours of his time entering Rin after official club hours are over, and I'll bet he'd like to discuss this plan of getting Rin's art into a gallery a little more. That's alright. I think I'll probably be here. It's not a big deal if I'm not. I don't really have much going on. Oh, sorry, I have really much going now. Rin answers without moving her eyes from her artwork in progress. The tone of her voice is neither the polite kind expected when talking to a teacher, nor her usual monotone. So I won't need to send a student research party if you aren't here. Yes, no thanks. I don't like to party. We can talk later. Good girl. Okay, it was weird the first time. Now I'm really especially weird. That's the second time. Ugh. Oh man, I hope nothing weird's going on. Smiling, the teacher picks up the rest of his papers and makes his way to the door. I glance at the clock above it and then at my watch to double check. They're 3 minutes apart, but nevertheless the club's meeting time is over now. Rin seems intent on staying here to work on her piece while waiting for the teacher. I can't quite imagine what their one-on-one time would be like. Would they actually discuss anything? Rin is always so subdued in what she says, and when she does say something, it's difficult to understand what she's talking about. Maybe Nomiya just talks endlessly like he does at the club meetings, letting Rin absorb what she will from his infinite well of art knowledge, like a sunflower turning to face the glowing sun. Do you mind if I stay? I thought maybe I'd give watercolors another try. I blurt out the excuse, sort of accidentally, embarrassing myself. Ren doesn't take her eyes off her painting. Okay. I shift around in my chair, then get to fetching a cup of water, brushes, colors, and some paper. The sound of my footsteps invades the still afternoon air. Before starting, I try to recall what the teacher told us. An important philosophy of the medium. Working with watercolors means more working with water than working with color. I try to keep that in mind, and dip my tiny sable brush into the water cup. I'm mixing yellow and blue, trying to capture the sunlit treetops outside of the window. The sun is low, so the yellows are more pronounced and everything looks darker. I still can't quite connect what I see with what my hand does with the paints, but it's a passable attempt for my level. After a while, I start losing my focus and move the paper aside, deciding to watch Rin work for a while instead. That little while stretches first into a long while, then into a really long while. Rin paints, her entire being fully concentrated, on the brush between her slender toes and the painting coming to life one stroke at a time. She seems determined and yet at the same time relaxed, effortlessly moving the brush around, never hesitating. Colors meet and part, mix and cover each other on the canvas, bending to her quiet will. I don't know anything about composition, structure, or any of that stuff, but I really like Rin's paintings. I like how she looks when she paints. As usual, the silence between us compels me to speak rather than merely wait for her to open up. She might end up saying nothing at all. Do you mind if we talk? I don't mind. I kind of want to ask more about why you get so weird about this thing the teacher wants to arrange for you. Ren picks up a tube of paint and squeezes it between her toes on a palette, almost as easily as someone with opposable thumbs would. Take up a brush again, she replies. A lot of things. And some not things. Unthings. I don't think that's a word. Do you want to talk about it? I try to reach out to her clumsily, ignoring the embarrassing feeling of awkwardness. Ren keeps her focus on the painting, spreading more and more paint on the canvas, her lips forming a perfectly straight line as she concentrates on the job. Not really. Talking is hard. I mean, it's not hard. I'm talking even now, but saying the right things is really hard for me. No matter what, I just can't say the things I want. That sounds weird. It's true. I say all kinds of things that I don't really mean all. Oh, that's why she said that earlier. I remember like when I first started the stream, she said something like, people say things they don't mean all the time. She was talking about herself. And sometimes I forget words and then I use the wrong words. I even come up with new words for things that already have some. That's the worst thing. I get really nervous and everything comes out a mess, and even I don't really understand what I want to say. I think there's something wrong with me that makes it like this. Remember when I said I can only think of 4 things at the same time? I nod wordlessly. It's not really 4. I mean, it is for, but everything else is also there, kind of in the background. Like being at an amusement park and a beehive at the same time. But that's not the point. I am getting a little more and more sure that she does have, like, a mixture of autism and ADHD. Because I've heard a lot of a lot of people say that, with ADHD, like, they feels like their mind is going 100 miles per hour and they're having so many thoughts. And that their mind is just so loud. And then once they start medication, then they I heard in some cases they just say, like, oh, my mind actually feels quiet. So that's why I'm wondering that's what happened here. Or at least what's happening with her, like, in a way, like... I used to do better. Like, 6 or 7 things. I think so, at least. I feel like I'm becoming dumber. Oh. I think everyone has times when they feel like they can't say the right things. But it's there all the time. Stronger and deeper. Yeah, deeper is a good word. I like that word. Deeper. It's that feeling of being underwater. Maybe it's just art. The more I paint, the more words I forget. Maybe at some point I'll forget how to speak completely. It feels like I'm slowly forgetting everything. Do you remember what you thought about... Do you remember what you thought about 3 or 4 years ago? I don't. A long pause ensues, during which time it seems to bend around itself, almost tying itself into a knot. I don't think I ever heard Ren talk this earnestly and for so long about anything before. It's like I'm fading away from the world. Ren's foot has stopped its work on the canvas, and she is staring at her painting, unmoving, as if gazing at some faraway horizon. Sunlight briefly glints in the corner of her onyx eyes. Something floats up into the top layer of Ren's being. She lets out a long breath. Then she blinks and it's gone. Paintings stay behind. When I look at my old things, I remember what I was thinking back when I made them. They make me feel I can be with all the past me's when I was a different me. I guess they are the proof of my existence. She used the exact same words Lamia used when she spoke to us of the nature of art. I didn't think Rin was paying attention back then. I wondered if she was listening, or whether she had heard the same passionate speech from Lamia before. Either way, I feel overwhelmed. Boy, are you complicated. I would have taken up writing a diary. Her eyes quickly flickered to my direction and then back to the painting, but she doesn't pick up the brush anymore. That's a great idea. Why didn't I ever think of that? Are you being sarcastic? What's sarcasm? I don't call her on the joke if it is one. But at this moment, Nomiya returns from his meeting. He waves to us a very melodramatic hello, mildly surprised to see me here along with his pet student. Walking with a boisterous gait to his desk, he drops his papers upon it. Picks up a handkerchief and cleans his glasses with incredibly meticulous care before walking over to us. Where he's within earshot to us, Rin says something to me in a quick, quiet voice. Change is the scariest thing in the world to me. And I seriously don't know if I want to change into a person who could do the thing the teacher wants me to do. I don't know if I could, even if I wanted to. I'm seriously wondering now, like, if she was people-pleasing to the point that now she just continued being someone that, some person wanted her to be. And now she doesn't know who she is anymore because of it. Man, she really is complicated. Holy shit, I don't know. Hello again. Hello. Oh, what's going on? He smiles a bit sheepishly, looking at both of us with an uninhibited interest. Nothing. We were just talking about that thing with your acquaintance in the gallery. For Rin's works. Sort of. Oh-ho, any decisions? I look at Rin, who's trying to range the bothered expression on her face into something else. Anyway, I don't think I have much else to say other than that you should go for it. These all sound awful. I don't like the wasting your talents thing. Because just because you're good at something doesn't mean you have to do, like, you know, something with it, really. Like, it's a talent or, like, a job. Could do an entire stream just talking about Rin after finishing with her root. Yeah. Guess it'd be exciting. You should aim high. Okay, these two don't sound as bad. He's by far the most cerebral route in the game. Oh, okay. Aside from that awful, the obviously awful one, this one's the only one that says you. Did I save it? Just let him go. Eeny, miny, mo. Okay, we'll go for that one. I really think you should aim higher. You should take the chance. Even if you crash and burn, at least you tried. It'd be worth it just for that. Amir sucks in his breath and lets it out after a pause, as if he wants to add something, but he manages to restrain himself. Rin finally replies to me. You don't think I'm good enough like this? No, I think you're selling yourself short if you think like that. It's cowardly. Rin looks absent-mindedly at me, not saying anything. I can't even tell if my words had any effect on her. I just don't get it. Anyone else would be jumping up and down in excitement. What's the point of doing your best, being at this art club, if you don't do anything with your talent? I'm telling you, I'm gonna be angry with you if you give this up. My voice rises higher. I don't know what makes me say this. It's like I've been taken over by some force out of my control, but I really do feel angry. Herbert also has the most choices. Oh, shit. Images of a letter written on cute stationery flash in my mind. Images of the masked faces of my parents, my doctors. Images of the times I've wasted. They mix into my feelings about Rin like a torrent of molten iron. I want to continue, but Rin suddenly stands up. Fine. I'm going. She trots out to the room without anyone saying anything. I stare after her. Still seething, though, with the voice of rationality in the back of my head, wondering if I had made her angry as well. The teacher lets out an embarrassed but extraordinarily loud laugh. You care a lot about her, for her, don't you? Emil looks at me over his circular pink glasses, smiling sympathetically. You ain't friends with her then, Nakai. Well, something like that, I guess. Depends on how you look at it. To be honest, I'm not really sure. It's more like me and Rin just tend to hang around each other regularly, talking or not about something that more often resembles some twisted mockery of philosophy rather than normal, everyday things that friends chat about. Well, that's all good, isn't it? You're a new student and we should be promoting integration into the student body and such. I can't remember all the buzzwords they spew at faculty and Yamaku Foundation meetings, but that's how it is. Tezuka isn't the most social person around these parts either. Yeah, that's definitely true. So she's talking about my suggestion to you. Oh, no, not really. I think it's been more me pressing her to decide something. Maybe I shouldn't have. No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm too soft with her, even when I shouldn't. I don't really know how to handle Tezuka. She's so independent and willful. I wonder if this is what every old geezer of an art teacher who got his hands on a young and fiery protege felt like. He chuckles ironically to himself a little bit, turning to face Ren's latest work, which she left drying on the easel. She departs so abruptly that I wonder if she considers it finally finished. So let's see the painting then. Leans in closer, peering at the canvas. It draws you in, doesn't it? Amir stands back straight, his face a dreamy, nostalgic visage. I don't answer him, as he seems to be taking my agreement as given. I sometimes stay here after hours just to look at Tezuka's paintings. She's really just prodigious, and at such a young age. I get shivers just thinking of what she could become with a few more years of refinement. You ask what makes an artist, remember? This is it. They take a piece of the world and reshape it in their own image. Metaphorically, of course. Looking at her makes you wonder what the world looks like through her eyes. It's a wonderful thing. To be young and full of passion, the most extraordinary time of your life. You would do well to remember that, Nekai. Yes, sir. It's so silly. People always ask artists, where do you get your ideas, as if ideas were something sold at the market for pocket change. You can't explain inspiration. For people like Tezuka, it's like breathing. It's an instinct. Instinct. I've met maybe one or two with the same kind of raw potential. But no amount of potential will amount to anything if one doesn't work to realize it. It's practice, technique, skill. Draw for an hour every day for a few years, and even the most hopeless case becomes a passable artist. Oops. Tezuka is not a brilliant because she was born with a natural talent for this kind of thing. She's a brilliant because she works harder than anyone. Ever since she learned to hold a pen, most likely. And all of it with her feet, no less. Absolutely phenomenal. Silence finally lands in the clubroom as Nomiya lets himself get drawn back into Rin's painting, gently murmuring acceptance toward the still wet canvas. What kind of things do you paint yourself? As I waken from reverie, he looks at me, surprised at my talking to him. Oh, I don't. Not anymore. I became an art teacher only after my career in that field came to an end. Now I just pass on knowledge to the next generation. The way Nomiya answers is curious, both giving and withholding information. I feel like asking more, but he cuts in before I get the chance. Now you should run along, my boy. It's almost dinner time, isn't it? Yes, sir. Have a good evening. You too. I quickly collect my stuff and step out to the dessert hallway, leaving the teacher alone with his musings. The weekend will be here soon. It's amazing how fast time flies here. I promised Emmy I'd join her for the celebration of her triumph at the track meet. Oh shit, I pressed the button. Well, maybe right here's a good time to stop anyway. We're like way over overtime. I went from like getting drowsy to like suddenly waking up for that last part. But at the same time, that part just got really interesting. So okay, but we're gonna stop there for sure. That's our win so far. Ooh. She is complicated. Like, yeah, she really is complicated. But at the same time, because I'm seeing puzzle pieces, but I'm not sure how they're fitting together yet. And that's what I find the most alluring about Ren. The fact that I want to understand her, I want to see how these puzzle pieces fit together. Why does she think the way she does? He sounds kind of right in that. Conversations with Ren are more like philosophy debates. I feel like it's really well written. Yeah. It does, yeah. And, let's see. At first I thought Nomiya was just being weird, but maybe? I don't know how much of it is an act, so I'm not sure about him, but like... Rin... Rin just feels like a lot of things at once. Like, I see her as... Like, she might have autism. I feel like she has also ADHD, and then some other part of me is like... Does she have, like, imposter syndrome or something, or... I don't know, like... It's really hard to, like, narrow it down, really. Like I said, like, it feels like what she said earlier, like, when she felt like she wasn't herself. Or she doesn't know who she is. It's, like... vague, and yet says quite a bit, too. And she tends to have a knack for that. She's really good at being vague, and then also, like... being right to the point. The big brain root, yeah. Yeah, maybe. It definitely feels like I'm definitely thinking more, like, through her route. I'm just wondering, like, how that is, you know, like... Like, how is this gonna play out in the end? Obviously, he's had his own issues. He's depressed, so he's trying to work that out. But anyway, I should probably leave it there, because like I said, like... It's a bit... It feels like it's still too early to say much about Rin. I feel like, yes, we got quite a bit of puzzle pieces, but we don't have them all yet. And we're gonna need more puzzle pieces. I think it makes sense that Ren's route is also one of the most difficult to end up on. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the other ones have some sense of, like, common sense to end up on their route, like how you want to get there. Ren's kind of felt like it was all over the place. Or is it the decisions to end up in her route? But anyway, we're gonna call it a night here. I should really get some sleep. Because now I'm feeling like tired creeping up on me again. And I should probably stop before I say something dumb. I almost want to rewatch like their little animated thing again. And basically every other girls too, to see if maybe there's things I missed. Things that could have been interpreted differently. But anyway. Alright guys, so that said, have a good rest of your morning, day, night, whatever. I will see you guys tomorrow night with Final Fantasy XIV. With my beloved Icy, so... we'll be going through, what is it, Sea of Clouds, and maybe Oz's Law. We'll see. And maybe that might be the end of, Heaven's Word areas, and then we're going on to Stormblood. Which, I can't wait for Stormblood. Stormblood, like, has some amazing sights. Anyway. Alright, guys. So, that said, take care, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.